Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gamers Lounge. This is your host Michael and welcome back to another review. I know it's been only a very few days since my last review of the BodyCam Supernatural case, but this is a brand new indie developed BodyCam game for consoles. I'm running it here for you on my PS5. It was released yesterday and it's available in UK PlayStation Store for the very, very, very beautiful sum of just £2.49. So even if you don't like this kind of game, this is a no-brainer. Now, before we go any further, I am going to go as far as to say that so far on consoles, with regards to BodyCam franchise, this is the best looking BodyCam game so far. I reviewed 3 games, and this is the third one, and it's the best of the bunch when it comes to graphics. It's really, really superb. It's been developed by a company called PlayStage Interactive. The game in question is called BodyCam GangZone. So we're going to go straight into it. Now you have 3 areas to choose from. You've got slums, which is your introductory level. You have the backyard, and you have the factory. Now, the game says it's very simply a straightforward, wave-based first-person shooter, and it does definitely do what it says on the tin. I don't have to worry about revealing any story spoilers, thankfully, because there isn't a story campaign as such. It is a single-player game only, there's no multiplayer, but you play as a tactical operative and you're sent to these urban environments to take out the bad guys. So let's have a look at this BodyCam GangZone. Right, I'm just going to turn up the environmental volume. So I'm going to go into options. Now, it says music volume, but that's only for the music that's on the main menu. I turned that down because it was loud, but when you're in game, when you're playing the actual levels, if you pause it and you turn up the music, what the music represents is the actual environment sounds, and I'll tell you a little bit about those in a second. So the game states that it has authentic police radio chatter. I've turned that down just for now, but you'll want to turn it up because it's very good for immersion. This is your vehicle, so when you start every level, you've got your car here. You can get your health replenished, you can replenish your ammo. And then you're all set. You have 2 weapons to choose from. You have your pistol, like so, and then you have your rifle, like so. The controls are simple enough. Unfortunately, there isn't a look-in version, so hopefully that might be introduced with a future patch. When it comes to sprinting, you click the left stick inwards, but there's no toggle. You have to hold it to sprint. As soon as you release it, you walk. Same with the crouch. You've got to press and hold circle to crouch and move along. Release it and you stand up. And there you have it for the controls. When it comes to the guns, you can either aim down the sights, or you can just fire from the hip, which makes it a bit more difficult because when the enemies come after you, they stand in front of you and they start running around when they finish standing there. And I will show you what I mean by standing there. Now, when they're moving about trying to avoid you and shooting you, they move from side to side. So it's a little bit difficult to hit them, especially when you're firing from the hip. And here's one of them. There you go, look, he's moving from side to side. So that's him down. So the graphics get better with each level. So the introductory level is as follows. You can see it's very good. There's a bit of light blooming out here, so they're a bit washed out, those buildings, but don't worry, you'll see what I mean by fantastic graphics. Photorealistic graphics, truly. Now, I found a couple of glitches. In this level, in one of the corridors, a couple of the enemies were seen standing knee-deep in the concrete floor. And when you shot them, the physics of them falling down weren't that brilliant. But that's okay. That's just a very minor glitch. When you've got an indie-developed game, you are going to get the odd glitch here and there, especially if this is the first game developed by indie developers. I don't know if this one is for PlayStage Interactive, but that's no problem. We can live with that. The other glitch, I was on a rooftop and I jumped down and I got stuck between a couple of boxes and a wall, so I had to reset the level. And some of the falling down physics aren't particularly that realistic, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, for £2.49, this is a steal, and I mean it's a steal. So let's go and show you the final thing that caught my eye. This is my shadow here. As you can see, the head looks like it's disembodied, but that's okay. The thing that got me, and this is just something that I find very interesting, and it just caught my eye, it's an optical illusion. If you look at your shadow, it mirrors what you're doing, right? So you're facing your shadow, and that's doing what you are. If you focus a bit and alter your perspective, imagine that that person standing in front of you in silhouette has got its back to you, yeah? He's pointing his gun towards him in front of him, and he's wearing a backpack. His knees are even bent forward. You see what I mean? And then if you focus back to the fact that it's a shadow facing you, it takes a bit of time to get adjusted. It's quite interesting. But anyway, on with the show. Let's go out into the corridor. Nobody here. Let's go out here. Now this particular level is not too massive. It's shaped like a horseshoe with a few rooms veering off here and there. Let's have a look. There you go. Now the levels themselves are not interactive, so you can't shoot barrels or you can't shoot scaffolding to make it fall on top of people. It's purely cosmetic. I mean, it's horrendously detailed, but only cosmetic, I'm afraid. Now, when I say standing there, when you walk up to the enemies, you can get right up into their faces, and they won't see you until you're like literally blowing a raspberry. You see what I mean? Oi! There you go. He's woken up. Shot at again here. Right. Yeah, sometimes the lack of a look inversion, it sort of affects you a bit. Because I forget that I have to press up on the right thumbstick to look upwards. So I sort of press up thinking I'm looking down. But you get used to that. That's not a problem. And that's the other area. You can go to that set of corridors as well. So it just kind of loops around like a horseshoe. Now we're going to go visit the other level. There you go. So the environmental soundtracks in the other levels, of course, are going to be different. Now, in the first level, the one I just came from, I think there are two separate ones, two separate tracks. So the first one is, you know, fades away quickly, and then about a second after, the other track kicks in, and it's more intense. It's got more people chatting, it's got more vehicles drifting along and coming to a stop, more suburban sounds, I think, which is very, very interesting. This one, because it's an abandoned industrial area, you get like, you know, metal poles falling over or being dragged around or clanking. You get work colleagues talking to each other, calling each other's names out. You get dogs barking. And the soundtrack, especially if you're wearing a decent pair of headphones, it's crystal clear, and I mean crystal clear, to the point where I'll give you an example. In the next level, which I will go to, I just want to go out here and show you a couple of details here. That's fine. We'll go to the next one. You'll see what I mean by graphical detail. There you go. Look at that. This level, machinery, metal beams clanking, people, workmen calling each other's names and talking to each other, shouting. I thought, because the sound was so crystal clear, I was convinced it was people outside my window where I live. But because I live in a very quaint fishing village, I found that strange, because nothing happens around here, especially at 3 or 4 in the morning. I mean, I live near a pub, so you get people walking past after they've been there, but it's mainly banter. Someone's left their shoes there. There's some above somewhere. I'm sure I saw some hanging from a telegraph line. Anyway, yeah, the sound was so incredible that I actually took my headphones off, because I thought there were people outside shouting. And then when I didn't hear anything, I thought, oh bloody hell, it's actually in game. That's how incredibly crystal clear the sound is. Now, look at these graphics. You tell me these aren't bloody good. This is definitely 100% the best looking console version of a BodyCam game out there so far. It really does your PS5 proud. And the details are really staggering, from like dirty windows, rusty doors, I forgot what the word is in English for the stuff you put on walls and bricks. Intonaco. I forgot what it is. Puttana Eva. Plaster. That's it. You can go right up close to a wall and see the plaster, or, you know, see the cracks in the wall and everything. Vehicles are abandoned. For example, this van, you know, all the dents and the rust marks, and a very detailed number plate from Poland. Yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic. I love it. And this level has lots and lots of nooks and crannies you can get lost in, or come across some nasty enemies that want to shoot you. I mean, look at that. Smoke billowing from chimneys. Get out of it, rascal head. Oh, here's another one. I don't know how many waves there are per level. I know that when I played the introductory level, I got up to wave 10, I finished it, and then wave 11 was about to come my way. So I'm not sure how many waves there are. It might be infinite waves, and the devs have given us that so we can play the levels for as long as we want to. Now, the amount of enemies per level varies. In the slums, you get 4 enemies. In the backyard level, the one before this one, you get 8, and in here you get 10. I know it says I've got 4 on the bottom left hand, or 2 now, but that's only because the game saves your progress. So if you start playing the game and then you quit the game and you've shot 5 enemies out of 10, when you go back into it, you've got 5 left. So it lets you resume. I've got just less than half a health bar there. I'm going to pick up some bits and pieces. Yeah, unfortunately they don't all fall over realistically. But I mean, look at this. You look at this, isn't it amazing? I love it. I think it's bloody brilliant. Absolutely bloody brilliant. There you go, look, shoes on the telegraph pole. They are really photorealistic graphics. I don't know what the resolution's like for those of you watching this YouTube video, but I know as I'm playing it, recording it on my smart TV, it does look superb. So, at £2.49, do I recommend buying this game? Oh, bloody hell, yes. It doesn't matter that the environments are not destructible. So what if you can't shoot a barrel and blow it up? And it doesn't matter if you can't shoot windows out or shoot bits of wood or scaffolding to make it fall on top of enemies. It doesn't matter. It's a really good quality BodyCam game. And the other thing, graphically, to touch on, look at those reflections. They accurately reflect the environment in every way. They're very, very good. Honestly, my compliments to the chefs here. And the scope is actually pretty good. Look at this this hangar here. You go into this room and look how high the ceilings are. I mean, it's really, really cool. Right, next wave. So you've got 30 seconds in which to run back to your car and stock up before the next wave comes. So if you've got like a tiny smidgen of health, you've got to hope you get back to your car quickly before you get shot at by the new batch of 10 enemies. So yeah, I think the difficulty is pitched just right. You only get the 3 environments, but because you can stay in those environments for as long as you want to, the game has a kind of a sense of longevity. It isn't like the previous game I reviewed, the BodyCam Supernatural case, where once you knew what you were doing, you can complete it in half an hour to 40 minutes. But this one, you need to take your time with it, because you need to watch out, because you can get overwhelmed very quickly. Anyway, I'm going to give this game, I think, for graphics, I'm going to give it 10 out of 10. Because they look superb. These are 10 out of 10 graphics, without a shadow of a doubt. You can go up really close to anything and it doesn't lose any definition. Look at that. It's just absolutely superb. Everything. The detail is staggering. Really, really good. The soundtrack, I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. Because it's very good. Within budget constraints, that's what the devs had to work with. So they went out, they recorded some suburban sounds and they included them in the game, and it does immerse you. The police radio chatter is also very good. That gives you a sense of immersion as well. And at least you get a couple of weapons to use. You don't need to be armed to the teeth with, 10, 15 different types of guns. A pistol, which is your sidearm, and your assault rifle is enough. That's all you'd carry if you were a real tactical operative anyway. You wouldn't go there armed with every gun available in the universe. So sound gets a 9 out of 10. Gameplay and control, I'd say a 6 out of 10, because it's nothing too different. And the fact that the enemies don't react that realistically, you have to walk right up close to them before they notice you. So I think a 6 out of 10 is sort of fair as far as the gameplay is concerned. So overall I'd say it's a 7.5 out of 10. But yeah, if we split the score down to score each thing, like graphic, gameplay, sound, 10 out of 10 for the graphics, 9 out of 10 for the crystal clear sounds, and I'd say 6 out of 10 for the gameplay, 7.5 out of 10 overall, and that's what I would give this game as a rating, personally. And not forgetting the lighting, that's also very good. But yeah, I'm impressed, truly. But anyway, apologies for the slightly lengthier review, but there was a fair bit to show you and to talk about, and I do recommend going for this game. Honestly, just try it out. For those of you craving a BodyCam game, now that other YouTuber that I watch, Player X, I think he was impressed with this game graphically. He liked it too, and I do find his reviews very amusing because he's remarkably honest about it. And it's like a no holds barred. He just tells you how it is. And he likes this one graphically. I think he was impressed. But who wouldn't be? Anyway, I'd say ciao ciao, and I will see you soon with the next review. See you then.